You think about DevOps as a kind of continuum, customers at one end and engineers, and the engineers that live in the darkest rooms at the other. There's supposed to be transparency between those two places. We were never optimized around that. And so culturally, this is a very significant change. And the further you drill into this, what you start to realize is that if you started from scratch, you'd have a very different staffing model as well. So as you start down this path of looking at DevOps, what you start to learn is that if you take on this task of transparency and you start to look at all the pieces and all the people in that continuum from ops all the way through to dev, you have a whole bunch of gaps in your organization as well. So it is an immensely complicated problem.
SDN and NFV have not only changed the technologies that are involved and put us on a path toward automation, which is one of the key factors for DevOps, but also what it's done is it's opened the door to more open source contributions that are on a very different time scale. I mean, if we think about the typical releases, I mean, OSM's coming out at a cadence of approximately 6 months. The OpenO project at the Linux Foundation for Orchestration, similar 6-month cadence. We're already on a DevOps path. We're getting from a couple years to 6 months for a release. That's an encouraging sign. Obviously, it's not there, but it's a step in the right direction. And more importantly, it changes the expectations because the impact on operations and ultimately the siloed organizations that need to come together to make this happen is not something that's going to be trivial in most of the operators that we've been engaging with over time.
Think big, act small, fail fast, and recover rapidly. It's even more relevant today in the DevOps world. And when say, a service provider picks up the phone for a vendor like HPE, it's not a new thing for a vendor like HPE because anybody who's done cloud business has done DevOps, okay? But in the service provider world, it is a new phenomenon. And what it requires are a couple of changes that it requires on both vendor and the service provider side. Transparency, okay? Adam talked about transparency.
Is that a scary word or is that a good word? And I'll throw that out to all of you. But
for vendor, it's an excellent word.
Excellent.
Okay, excellent word because I've been product manager in my career, and for a product manager to know what the requirements exactly are, it's the holy grail. Okay, there is no product feature holes that you will feel in your requirements if you are so tightly ingrained with the customer. Okay, so transparency is a great thing. It does lead to issues like feature creep and stuff like that, but the feature agility you can get, anything that it's unbelievable.
Not everyone is comfortable with transparency.
Yeah.
and I can understand that because there are intermediate stages in the software that probably are not ready for any testing, and you want to make sure that whoever who is using that software has the right context to use it and assess what is being delivered. And since it's not internalized or you don't have that mutual trust in each of the end, sometimes they feel more comfortable on having clear releases.
What I have learned out of this is, one, it's hard. DevOps and how you work with the vendors is very hard. Transparency is key to be able to do that. And eventually, the world is going to settle down, and we'll move forward in terms of making the interoperability and our standards drive that much faster to get us to market. So thank you again for coming. Appreciate it.